Are you thinking about buying or selling a property in Toronto, but you don't know where to begin? Well, then this video is for you. In this video, I'm going to go through realtor.ca, a free online resource that can show you properties across Canada for sale. And stay tuned till the end because I'm going to go through exactly what I need to do in order to list something on realtor.ca. And I'm going to show you some tips and tricks so you know exactly what you're looking at. So let's get to it. Hi everybody, my name is Connie Sarvanandan and I'm a real estate agent and investor here in Toronto and the GTA. Our goal with our channel here is really about education. We want to give you as much information as possible about buying and selling real estate in Toronto and the GTA. That way, when you're ready to buy or sell, you feel confident about the process. So if this is your first time to the channel, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out, and make sure you hit that little bell notification so you know every time we have a new video. We help clients from around the world, so if you have any questions about buying and selling or living in Toronto, please call, text, email, or WhatsApp, and we'll be sure to take care of you. So let's get right to realtor.ca. So what exactly is realtor.ca? Well, it's a free consumer website that's run by the Canadian Real Estate Association, and it shows the MLS listings for across Canada. So not only are you going to be able to see Toronto listings, you're going to be able to see GTA, Ontario, and across Canada. So I always tell my clients it's a great place to start, whether you're buying or selling. From a buying standpoint, you're going to get a really good sense of pricing, and you're going to see areas, and you're going to be able to see it across the board. From a selling standpoint, you're also going to get a good sense of pricing, and you're also going to be able to see how people market their properties. So great place to go. There's also lots of added information that people don't necessarily know about. So we're going to go into the tool right now. We're going to go right into realtor.ca, and I'm going to show you all the different pieces of realtor.ca. So let's go. Okay, so let's go to realtor.ca so you see exactly what I'm talking about. So realtor, realtor.ca. Okay, and then this is what the homepage looks like. And as you can see, there's 177,000 listings across Canada. So that's why there's so many. Now from here, you can actually really narrow it down, but the home page really tells you how many there are. You can actually look at residential listings as well as commercial listings if you choose. And you can also do searches by finding a home, finding a realtor. There's mortgage calculators on here, and then there's ideas and how-tos like tips for buyers, tips for sellers. It really is an all-encompassing website. So remember, this is realtor.ca, which means that this is all the MLS listings across Canada, so multiple listing services. So these are realtors that are putting their listings on here. And not only do you have to be a realtor or go through a realtor, you have to be a member of a board. So for me, I have a listing on here, and I'm a member of the Toronto Real Estate Board, and I'm licensed through Ontario, and so that's how it works. Okay, so these are the listings. Now, because there's so many, you really want to narrow it down. And so the first thing you can do is just look at the city you want. So I'm going to do Toronto. So let's see what happens when I do Toronto. Now, when I do Toronto, what happens is, see this red line, that's actually Toronto, but it's also showing me the GTA and then the greater GTA, and then it's showing me towns outside of the GTA as well. Now, if this is too overwhelming for you, then you can really filter it down and pick things. But before we do that, one of the things I wanted to show you is you can choose to just see the properties within Toronto as well. So you can just click on the Toronto map and you can search within the Toronto boundaries if that's what you want. So you just do search within boundaries, and then it's going to just show you properties only within Toronto. So, and then if you want more, then you go back to show more. So that's how you can just see Toronto. The other thing you can do is do filters. So filters is definitely what I recommend, because then that way you can start to see exactly what you want instead of going to, going through 3,859 listings in Toronto. You can see exactly what you want. So let's go to filters and figure out how to do that. Okay, so we're going to filter it down. So again, we're just going to search within boundaries. We only want to see Toronto properties, which there are 4,034 right now. And then we want to go over to these filters. So when we go into these filters, you can put down a city, a neighborhood, or an MLS number if you want to. But if you don't know, and by the way, I should say before I do this, if you want to look at all of them, you can just go scroll through all of these on the side here, and you can go through all 4,000. But if you want to filter it down, you click filters, and then you got to pick from this stuff. So, and if you don't want to pick from any of it, just leave it as it is, and that'll give you the widest search. But for property types, you want to pick either residential, which is a freehold, which means you own the property and there's no condo fees. Otherwise, there's condos, which condos mean you own the unit, but then you own all the common elements with all the other unit owners, and so therefore you have condo fees, vacant land, recreational, and multifamily. So I'm going to put down residential. Actually, no, we'll leave it as any for now, but you can do either. Transaction type is for sale or for rent. I'm going to leave it at for sale. But you can definitely look up rentals in the same way. So if you're in the rental market, this is good. And then minimum price. For minimum price, I always put 100,000, because anything below 100,000, first of all, you're not going to find any property in Toronto for $100,000. You're not going to find anything, I think, under $300,000. But for 100,000 or less, it's usually parking spots or lockers that are for sale. And the thing about those is you actually have to live in the building and already own in the building in order to buy a parking spot or a locker from another unit owner. So that's why I always put them in 100,000, and then I'm going to do 500,000 over here. And I'm going to do this because I want to show people that there are lots of properties in Toronto for under 500,000 Canadian. Listed since, this is really if you want to see, the newer listings, then you would do listed since the last 7 days or whatever you want. It all depends on how far back you want to go. If you want to see everything that's available for a sale, then just leave it blank. Open houses, this is when a realtor hosts an open house. So if you have a new listing generally, or if you have a listing in general, and you're just going to open it to the public, then you have an open house and you could click on that. So when you click on that, you'll see which ones have open houses that you can attend. So you can attend that on your own. You don't need anybody with you, and you can there'll be a realtor at that open house. They'll greet you, they'll tell you about the property, all of that stuff. And then keywords. So if there's something specific you want in the keywords, then you put this here. And this might be something like a school or something like that. But remember, these keywords, the realtor really needs to input these keywords, or they have to be part of the basic description. So you just have to be mindful that, it may not be part of the description, and it still might be there even though you put in this keyword. Okay, so then we hit search, and now we have 323 listings. And then you can go through the 323 and you can see it by area. You can zoom in and see where exactly each of those listings are and what they are, and kind of go from there. Okay, so that's how you use realtor.ca for searching. So now let's go into a specific listing to understand what it looks like when you look at the listing. Okay, so to look at a specific listing, we're going to actually look at my listing, because in that way I could tell you everything about it and not be worried about it. So first of all, for filters, I'm just going to do some quick filters so it's easier to find my listing. Residential for sale, yeah, that's I'm going to do 416 and search. Okay, so I've done Toronto, minimum 1.4 to 1.4 million to 1.6 million. Those were the filters I put in. Now I'm going to zoom in because now these are all the listings that are there. And I want to do, again, it's going to, as you zoom in, you're going to see everything that's available, and then everything available is going to come up on this side. So what you're going to see is, for example, that's my listing right there, which also, when you click on it, you see this number zoom up. So it's right there. Okay, so we're going to click on that, and then this is my listing. So some things to note about my listing. First of all, the way that realtor.ca has narrowed it down is it was in Ontario, ON, Greater Toronto, then Old Toronto, and then Davisville. This property happens to be in an area of Toronto called Davisville Village. Okay, so then within this, that's the address. There's directions there. You can print off the listing, and you can share this listing. You can text it, you can email it, whatever way you want to do it. So these are the photos, and if you see this, you can scroll across and see all the photos that are available. This also has my contact information over here, as well as my brokerage's contact information. This is the company I work for. This tells you that this listing was up 1 day ago, so that's when it went. If you don't want to go through all of it to search it again, you could click on favorites so that it's easy to find. When you go to your homepage, you just look at your favorites. This is the address. This is the MLS number. It's also a good one for you to be able to search it without going through everything. It shows 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. So then there's 4 different tabs. There's highlights, neighborhood, statistics, and calculators. Highlights will show you what's available for the property. So you have a video. This is actually a virtual tour, which I'll click on in a minute. And then you're going to have the description. This description is actually written by the realtor. And I'm going to go through this description in a minute. And then you also have the property features and everything else, plus more photos, and then it's going to tell you other things within this listing. So what are the other things it's saying? It's above grade, it's 3 bedrooms, it's 3 bathrooms, it's a semi-detached home, so it's only attached on one side. There's central air conditioning for the cooling. There's a forced air natural gas heating. The exterior of the property is brick. These are the things that are nearby: park, public transit, schools. There's garage parking, and there's a total of 2 parking spaces. And then it's going to give you the rooms, and it's going to give you dimensions. You could look at it in metric or imperial. And then it's going to show you similar properties as well in the area. Okay, so then let's go to some of the additional features that were included in this listing that you can look and see if other listings have it as well. Okay, so let's talk about the description. So again, this description is what I wrote in, and what I do with my descriptions is I'm adding in things that may not be evident necessarily from just the photos. So Midtown freehold condo home. The reason why I say that is freehold means that there's no condo fees, because I didn't want somebody to look at this property and think that it is a condo. And then I also mentioned that it's a rare 2-car garage because of the location of this property. A 2-car garage is very unusual, so I want to make sure that people knew that. I wrote down only attached on one side, even though it is a semi-detached. If you look at the property main picture, you'll see that it doesn't look like it's a semi-detached, so I wanted to make sure that people knew that. And then we talk about 10-foot ceilings on the main floor. Again, although it looks fantastic, it doesn't necessarily mean that somebody can realize that it's 10-foot ceilings. And then also with the deck, I put down the square footage of the deck because, again, even though it looks huge, people might not realize that it's over 500 square feet. So that's kind of the rationale of what I do when it comes to the description, and then when it comes to the extras, it kind of tells you anything else that's that you need to know, including oftentimes what's included with the sale. So this property included in the sale, you get the fridge, the stove, the dishwasher, microwave, washer, dryer, the rooftop barbecue, central air conditioning, all the electric light fixtures, and central vac. So that kind of explains everything that there's in there. The other thing I wanted to show is under more photos. You can, like mine goes to a website that you can see everything about the property, and you can see photos and 3D tours and everything else. But there just might be more photos because you reach a limit on the number of photos you can show up here. So people will put more photos in. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is a lot of times you're going to have a virtual tour. So what a virtual tour does is it actually takes you through the house without actually having to go to the house. So I'll just do a quick preview of the virtual tour. So this property happens to have a virtual tour. Not all properties will have a virtual tour, but the virtual tour is great, especially if you're not in town and you want to see the property. It takes you through the property like you're actually there. That's why they call it a virtual tour. So it's a great tool. I don't use it for all my properties, but I thought for this one, especially if people couldn't get to it, it was a great way to showcase it because it is a beautiful property and it's also very unusual. So that's the virtual tour. So then let's go back again to the listing. So that's all under the highlights. Also within realtor.ca, you can see neighborhood stats. So it tells you on a scale of 1 to 10 what the neighborhood stats are. So it's parks are 10, transit friendly. The subway station is right there. It's a 7-minute walk. High schools are 9, pedestrian friendly, groceries, so it's saying all these great things. So what is it not great at? Quiet. Yeah. So basically it's saying it's not a quiet neighborhood. So if you're looking for something that's like quiet and peaceful, this would not necessarily be it. It's not super loud, but that's what they're saying. So just something to keep in mind. And, there's lots of other tools for this, but that's your neighborhood stats. Then we go into the stats itself. So these statistics are for this specific area in the red. So it tells you the population, the average household income, the number of households, the average age, how many have children, how many people in the household. You can look at things like what the household income. This is all from Stats Canada. So you're going to have all kinds of information. Children at home. If there's children at home, how old are they and what percentage is it? All these different things that are within realtor.ca. And then finally, there's also calculators that you can put in, and you can put down your down payment and figure out your mortgage payments and things like that. So that's realtor.ca, and I'm going to talk a little bit about why I think this is a great place to start, whether you're buying or selling. Now that's realtor.ca. So why do I send my clients to realtor.ca? I send my buyers to realtor.ca because I think it's a really good starting point for you to start to understand the Toronto market. You're going to see how much things are, whether it's a house or a condo and different areas. You're going to also be able to see your value within Toronto versus the GTA versus outside of the GTA. It's just a great tool. And when I work with buyers, I always tell them to start there, but what I'm going to do with them is I'm going to really narrow down that search based on what they're telling me, and we're going to find them exactly what they want, and we're going to do a couple of different things to make sure that their search makes sense for them. But realtor.ca is a great starting point because it's going to show you everything that's available, and it's also going to help you see the bigger picture. So that's for buyers. From a seller standpoint, I always tell them to also look at realtor.ca because again, it's a great tool for them to see, what prices are listing for in their neighborhoods. It's not the sold price, and we have different tools for sold, but it gives them a great sense of what things are listing in their neighborhood. It also shows them how people are marketing their property and what the pictures look like and what what the visuals are, and it'll show them, you know, what good properties look like versus not so great properties. So great tool for sellers as well. So that's it. I hope you found this helpful, and if you did, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. And if you think we can do better, I'd love to hear that too. And also, if there's videos that you wish we would do, please let us know, because we will do that too. My name is Connie Sarvanandan. I'm a real estate agent here in Toronto. And if you have any questions about living in Toronto, moving to Toronto, buying or selling in Toronto, please call, text, email, or WhatsApp, and we'll be sure to take care of you. Thanks for joining us.